Hello everybody. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here in Vietnam and with this lovely lady here and my esteemed colleague. Thank you for having me here. Yes, the FDA approval is very important and we are satisfying the needs of patients, and by having FDA approval this is obvious, but it's particularly important for Asian-skinned patients because melasma is a much larger problem for this population. And I believe that with the system we have, we can answer this problem and once more. Yes, the FDA approval is extremely important. And of course, if FDA approve, then the system is safe and effective. It's safe and effective in Caucasian skin, but it's more important that it can treat melasma in Asian skin, particularly darker Asian skin types, such as you have in Vietnam. And we are having a lot of success with this treatment. Spectra laser for melasma uses a very special technique which we call laser toning. It's unique to this laser, and because the laser has an extremely short pulse width and very high peak power, we are able to target the melanin in melasma without damaging the tissue surrounding it. And the most important thing with Asian skin is secondary hyperpigmentation, PIH. And by targeting specifically the melanin and not damaging the tissue around it, that's how we address that problem. Yeah, the greatest advantage of the Spectra laser is that we can remove melasma. Now, melasma is very difficult to treat, and it nearly always comes back. But with the Spectra laser, we can increase the period of time for which the melasma does not come back to quite some considerable time. The special thing about Spectra is it's not just one laser. It's actually 4 lasers in the one system. We have the Q-switched mode, which we've talked about, which is very good for laser toning. It's also very good for treating post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, PIH. The pure Q-switch mode is excellent for removing dark tattoos. We can also frequency double the beam to get a green laser, which is excellent for freckles and other melanin disorders of the skin. And we can then add 2 different hand pieces, which are dye hand pieces, to give 2 more colors, yellow and red. So we can treat many different kinds of tattoo pigment. So really, it's 4 lasers in the one system. And that's what makes it so technologically interesting. Hello, everybody. It's wonderful to be here in Vietnam, and thank you very much indeed for the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about the Echo 2 laser. Yes, to answer that question, I need to ask a question. And the question is, why is treatment of scars so difficult? The answer is because there are many different kinds of scars. And each scar has its own epidermal or dermal characteristics. And the only way that we can treat scars properly is with tremendous amount of flexibility of spot size, of power parameters, and this is what Echo 2 offers. That's exactly what I was saying before. There are 3 different kinds of scar there. In the case of the acne scar, we have to shave round the outside of the scar, and then we have to cut the tether so that the scar will lift. Then in the case of a hypertrophic scar, we have to reach really deep into the dermis to destroy the fibrous tissues, but at the same time, we have to smooth the surface of the skin. And in the case of atrophic scars, we have to build up the area in the center of the scar. And all of these require completely different techniques. Right. I think the main thing is that most fractional lasers deliver their fractionated beam in rows, like so you get a stamp. In the case of ECHO 2, it delivers its microbeams in random spots, as far away from each other as possible, so it doesn't build up heat. And if you build up heat, then you build up the possibility of PIH, secondary hyperpigmentation. And this is what makes ECHO 2 ideal for wrinkles. Yeah. The anatomy of fine lines and deep wrinkles is completely different. In the case of fine lines, we're looking at pure epidermis involvement, the outer part of the skin. In the case of deep wrinkles, we're looking at deep dermal involvement, where the underlying muscles have moved so that the dermis is actually deep. Therefore, for fine lines, we need to use superficial treatment, and for deep wrinkles, we need to go deep into the tissue. And once again, the range of parameters, the range of spot sizes, and the range of spot density that's offered by ECHO 2 allow us to go as shallow as we want or as deep as we want.